Hey all, I recently kind of threatened to do a video on preparedness, like what I would do if I didn't have any sort of preparedness supplies whatsoever or plans, and how I would go from zero to somewhat prepared. These are my thoughts on this, not anybody else's, and understand that this topic could go on forever. Like we could do books, videos, classes, and there are all of those. But I'm talking about like the most expedient path from I have nothing to hopefully I have something. I'm going to share with you my thoughts. I guarantee you will disagree, and that would not surprise me. If you do, then hit me in the comments. Let me know where you differ from my thoughts. And I'll tell you that if what you're saying makes a lot of sense and I rethink, maybe I'll do another video. I'll come back and give you credit. But for now, like I said, my thoughts. And you guys, you can't cover everything. Like you cannot be prepared for everything. Really, any preparedness plan would ideally start with a risk assessment, like what your risks are. And that's going to be very individualized based on you, your personal well-being, your family, where you live, all sorts of things. This is beyond the scope of that even. We're just talking about some real basic stuff, okay? I'm going to talk about 4 topics really, and it's going to be food, first aid, fitness, and firearms. There are other things that you should consider probably, and I'm going to throw in a couple bonuses at the end because there's a couple more things that probably are important, but these are not comprehensive. This is just a small little slice of I have nothing to I have something. So without further ado, let me just get right into the first topic, and that's going to be food. And let me just subset that with water. Okay. Water is probably more critical than calories, not that calories are not important. We are all blessed with, or most of us are blessed with, literally being able to go into the kitchen or bathroom, turn on the faucet, and get water that is clean and drinkable. That is a luxury. And if you've ever lived in the third world or stayed in the third world, you know that that is not the case in a lot of places. Having water security is important. And the easiest way I know to do it, the easiest, not the cheapest, not the whatever, run out to Costco, Walmart, BJ's, and get a 40-pack of half-liter bottles. Get one for you, get one for anybody else who's living in the same household, and get one for each of your pets. Now, is that going to last you for 6 to 12 months? Zombie apocalypse, like end of world? No, hell no. But if for whatever reason your water supply becomes compromised and you need drinking water, water to prepare food with, or clean, this is a long way towards having water security. Okay. It is super, super important. And that's easy. This is the easiest thing to do. Like it'll fit in your car. Like literally you could probably outfit your whole family for way less than $100. Now, if we're talking long-term, you start thinking about filling bathtubs and water filtration and water treatment and everything else. I'm talking about most expedient. And the most expedient thing I can tell you to do is run right out, get you a case of that water right now. Easy day. Put it in the corner, put it in the closet. Problem solved. Now, once we cross that line off, let's talk about food. Now, I'm assuming that most of you probably have some food in your refrigerator, some in your pantry, and you probably could go for more than a meal without sitting in your house and going, crap, where am I going to get food from? If you need to have some food stability and you don't have it or don't have a lot of it, the easiest, the most expedient thing to do, let me just click over to my mountain house, run out or click on the link that I'm going to put in the description, buy the 5-day meal kit. Okay. Expedition meal assortment bucket, 5 days. Get that, throw it in the back of your closet. Boom, problem solved. You got 5 days worth of food, and it's $112. If there's more than one person in the household, then buy multiples. Who cares? And like I said, those things, they stay good for years. So they're not going to run out. They're not going to spoil. I think each one of those meals requires like a cup of water to prepare, but you already bought the water, so you're good to go there. Are they going to be gourmet? Nah, there's no friggin' way. Nor are they going to be the most tasty. They're not going to be the most absolutely nutritional, but they're going to be decent food for you. They're going to take care of you in the long haul. And look, if you literally it sits in the back of your closet for the next 30 years and you never use it, and then you freaking go on to the afterlife, I think that's cheap insurance. You have probably spent more money on way dumber things than that. Food security is important. Now, if you're talking like serious prepper, you're talking about like buying beans, rice, other dry goods, rotating stocks, a bunch of other things. That requires time and effort and a serious commitment. I'm talking about Most Expedient. I'll put some more links as well to like, there's a few prepper series. If you want to get serious, there's some couples that do like a lot of prepper videos. And if you're interested or this piques your curiosity, there's a lot that you can do. But like I said, I'm talking right now about the Most Expedient. Mountain House is definitely it. The most bang for the buck for sure. Next, you really want to talk about first aid. Guys, here's what I want you to do. You need really two things. One is your first aid kit, and you're going to need some training. But let me talk about the first aid kit. Your easiest, most bang for the buck, go to the Dark Angel Medical website. I'll put a link. Order their hard case. Yeah, it's $300, but they got discount codes to knock 20% off. So, $240. Not only does that kit have all the ouchie and boo-boo stuff, but it's got the stuff to take care of real life-threatening bleeds. Okay. And you need to have both on hand. And this is a pretty good sized kit, so it's got a lot of stuff in it. Yeah, it's not cheap, but look, you could piece it together yourself. You're going to end up spending darn close to the same amount of money, if not more. And carrying the guys at Dark Angel, they know what they're doing. This is a curated kit that is designed to take care of you in all sorts of emergencies. Now, here's the thing. You got this hardware. What are you going to do with it? Well, you're going to go onto the Red Cross website and you're going to sign up for their basic first aid, basic life-saving CPR AED. You can get that real inexpensive and half of it's online anyway. You're going to knock that out. Then you're going to take a Stop the Bleed class. And between those two things, you're going to know really almost everything that you need when it comes to real first aid issues, to include some serious life-threatening emergencies. Okay, guys? So definitely don't skimp on the first aid. And I know that I'm in those kits, we're talking about everything from little Band-Aids to like tourniquets, but sometimes those little comfort items, like especially if the power goes out, you can't get anybody to come to your house for the next 72 hours because you're snowed in or there's an earthquake or whatever, can really mean the difference between having a really bad time or becoming an obituary. So having something like this is really important. When we get past the first aid, we got to talk about fitness. And I know, guys, fitness is everybody's really like, they hate fitness. Let me just caveat this with saying that I'm really going to come at this from the perspective of you are in reasonable physical health, you have no maladies, disabilities, or serious medical conditions. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical trainer. But let's just say that right now you haven't really done anything besides go to work, come home, get on the couch, go to bed, go to work, come home, get on the couch, go to bed. And you've done that for however long. You don't do anything for your fitness. What you need to do right now is start moving. Now, the easy thing to do is go take a walk. Yeah, you could get a personal trainer. You could go get some fitness books. You could do all kinds of things. But go take a 15-minute walk. Hell, pause this video, go do it right now. Or if you're watching this on your phone, go take a walk right now. 15 minutes. That's all, just 15. Tomorrow, do it again. If you're like, man, this is way too easy. 15 minutes is cake, dude. Okay, then go longer. And then while you're at it, finish up with a few sets of push-ups. If push-ups are hard, do them on your knees or lean against the counter and kind of like lean at an angle and do push-ups that way. Do 10 or 20 and then do a few sets of that. I know these are real basic, like hyper basic, but I'm talking about from the perspective of somebody who has never done anything and they're just trying to get started. If you're a freaking half marathon runner and you're in the weight room 4 times a week, this advice is not for you. And I'm super happy that you're there. But if you're not, then you got to start moving, because one of the problems that you're going to run into if things go sideways is you might have to move. Might have to walk distances. You might have to walk up or down multiple flights of stairs because of power outages or natural disasters. If you're not capable of doing that, then you're going to have a real hard time. And if you're not capable of doing that without being completely out of breath and destroyed, once again, you're going to have a real hard time. Start slow, build up. If you've got any major disabilities or any other issues, talk to your doctor, talk to a physical trainer. They can work with you to get around that. Hopefully you're in the space where you can do more if you do a little bit at a time, hopefully. Like I said, if you're in some sort of other condition, this advice is not for you. And I'm sorry, my sympathies. This is not any sort of hate directed toward anybody like that. But if you're one of the multitudes who's pretty sedentary, but has no real physical issues, the time to start fixing that is right now. I don't need you to train for a marathon. I just need you to start moving. Lastly, let's talk about firearms. And when it comes to firearms, guys, there are a ton of opinions. There are a ton of things you could do. And like ideally, you'd be like a 3-gun shooter and have multiple pistols, rifles, shotguns, have everything that you need to sustain a small unit action for 72 hours. But that's not most people. If I woke up today and I didn't have a gun at all, I'd run right out right now and I'd buy a Glock 19. That's all I would do is buy a Glock 19. And you're saying, well, Jay, there's other pistols out there. What if they have little baby hands or really big hands, or what if this or what if that? I don't care. The Glock 19 is a ubiquitous pistol. It is the pistol by which every other defensive pistol is judged. Is it the most ergonomic? No. Is it one of the most durable and reliable and reasonably accurate pistols on the market? Yes. It is big enough to do full-size work, but small enough to be concealable by most people. Once you've got that pistol, get a case of ammo. That's 1,000 rounds of practice ammo. Buy 2 boxes of defensive ammo, like 124 grain Federal HSTs or the Plus Ps if you want to get a little sporty or spicy. It's not going to matter. Pick one of those. Get a holster, get a belt, and that's good. Like, it's a good start. Once you've done that, you need some training. Go to your local range, take their basic pistol and CCW class. If those are too easy for you, there's a whole bunch of national level trainers out there. And yeah, you could knock down with them. I'm not going to say don't, but you've got to get your foundation going. And those basic classes at the range, while they're not really the high speed dudes, they're going to give you the basics. They're going to give you your safety, how to store and handle that firearm. And that's a foundation you need to have built no matter what. Okay, whether you don't go any further and take any other classes, or whether you launch into, I'm a training guy and I'm going to take 5 classes a year for now until I'm too old and feeble to move. Then I've known people in both camps. Take those basic classes, get them out of the way. Hell, if you're local to me and you want to get lessons, arrange for private lessons with me. I got you. But for most of you guys, you're probably not going to mess with that. You probably just want to go and do those little local classes, and that's totally fine. Okay. Now, side note, do I think that a caveat or a condition of gun ownership should be mandatory training? Hell no. I don't want you to have to do anything to exercise your rights. But what I do want you to do is have the knowledge and ability to exercise those rights in the best way possible for you. And that really requires some knowledge and training. Yeah, could you learn all this stuff on the internet and kind of puzzle your way through it? Yeah, but man, classes are kind of the shortcut, easy button to basic familiarity and competence. And so I'd really try and steer you down that path. Remember, this is my most expedient list. It's not my pie in the sky. I'm going to make you brilliant at everything, have like a farm and crops and multiple guns and be like a marathoner and a power lifter and be like a paramedic. I'm talking about just basic competence and basic preparedness in these areas. That's it. After you get out of the basics and you want to go further, man, there's plenty of resources, and heck, I can come back at this. But like I said, Glock 19, get some ammo, get a holster, get a belt, take some classes. It'll go a long way. Now, I'm not going to beat up any of these topics, but I do want to give you 2 bonus topics. So quickly, if you don't have a decent pocket knife, guys, I'm going to put a link to the Spyderco Para 2, and I'm going to put a link to that in the description. It is a USA made, good steel, bomb-proof lock, good knife. It's not the cheapest knife, but it's an awesome knife. I know the picture that I'm showing you has a serrated blade, but it is the plain edge is the one that I'm linking to. I promise. It's like S45 VN steel. It's really rust resistant. The lock, the compression lock that the Spyderco has, is probably one of the strongest locking mechanisms for a knife that is on the market. And to unlock that blade, to close it, you don't have to put your fingers in front of the blade, which makes it a very safe knife, in my opinion. It's not the sexiest knife. You could spend way more. But if you don't have a decent pocket knife, this is a good freaking knife. It's got an ambidextrous pocket clip on it. It may not be legal where you live, so double check that, guys. Spyderco makes a smaller version, the Para 3, which in theory is legal most places. Now, if where you live doesn't allow locking blades because of reasons, this isn't going to help you. But for most of you, if you want a decent pocket knife, you want to get years and years of service out of it, the Spyderco Para 2 or Paramilitary 2, get that knife. I'm still carrying mine and I've owned one for years. Yeah, I test all kinds of knives. I love all kinds of knives, don't get me wrong. And if you watch any of my other knife review videos, you know my deal on knives. But guys, really, the Para 2, you could do way worse. And I don't know that you can do a lot better. In addition, if you don't have a good flashlight, I'm going to put a link to the Fenix PD36 TAC, which is still my favorite everyday carry light to this day. And it's been out for over a year now, probably even 2 at this point. At some point, I'm sure they're going to update it and come up with a PD37 TAC with more lumens, other things. But I love this light because you can use it for everything from looking for your keys and doing very administrative tasks to kicking out a very bright light that will, let's say, control subjects reasonably if you need to give them the light. It is not the cheapest, but it is certainly not the most expensive light out there. And because of its multi-mode functionality with a lockout, so you can put it in your pocket and not get a wiener roast going, it's an excellent freaking light. Okay, or clam bake. I'm sorry for those of you on the other side of the fence. Let me not be sexist, okay? You can lock this out, stuff it in your pocket, and it won't cook you. You can very quickly switch it out of lockout with the same one-handed motion and get all the light. So if you need to shine a really bright light, you're good to go. Yeah, I've reviewed cheaper lights. And like I said, you could certainly buy a Cloud or a Mod or a Surefire, spend double or triple or quadruple this number. But I'm talking most expedient. This is the most expedient list. It's not the list of the most expensive, the most Gucci, or the best. It's the most expedient. And I love this light. I carry it with me every freaking day. Now look, guys, we could certainly go on and on into oblivion about other topics, and each of the topics that I've covered, I have scratched the surface. I mean, we're talking like little scratch. Any one of these could be its own class or course for that matter. And there are a bunch of them out there. I know there's several medical classes out there. There are several prepper classes out there. Patriot Nurse does some. There's families that are really into prepping that literally give you whole coursework. Like I said, I'll link to some videos, but I'm going to end this here. I'm not going to go deep into this. And at this point, I don't even know how long I've been talking, so I don't want to make this super long. Guys, I appreciate you watching and I appreciate your support. If you like what I have been doing on this video and you want to see other videos along the same lines of firearms, knives, lights, fitness. I'm a gear junkie, and so I do a lot of gear stuff. I can't help it. It's in my blood. People love gear, and I'm no exception. If any of these things are interesting to you, the YouTube stuff, the like, the subscribe, and notification would be very appreciated. If you've disagreed with anything that I have presented here, or you think that you have a better perspective or a better idea, hit me in the comments, guys. I don't think I know everything. This is just my perspective. I have been through a few natural disasters. I have been snowed in multiple times. And so the stuff that I'm giving you is kind of my basic philosophy on how to deal with the issues at hand. Like I said, let me know what you think. I'm going to end this here, guys. I appreciate you watching. Take care. Stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.